I'm Steve Fostness. This is Terry Anderson. We're part of the Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee. The Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee was started in February 2016 was our first meeting. Before that, a few of us from the American Legion Post 36 in Fairmont started talking about having a Veterans Memorial to honor all veterans who served in uniform from Martin County, whether they were born here, whether they went into the service from here, or whether after the military they moved back to Martin County.
When I got involved in what we're doing with the memorial, there was already a group formed. Jim Miller, Steve was involved in it, and there was another group of people. And we were discussing how we were going to set ourselves up. And it was supposedly going to be a nonprofit group, and we were struggling with that issue. We couldn't seem to get it done. Eventually, just moving forward on that, Steve and I got together, 2 hours one day and a couple hours the next day, and we got our forms filled out and we sent them in, and believe it or not, we got it back in 6 weeks?
Correct.
Something like that. And that made our group nonprofit.
So our first major fundraiser that year was at the Martin County Fair. And we started talking to veterans. Before that, we had to have a place to have the memorial.
Yeah.
And we started looking at options within the county for a place to have the memorial. We finally established on Fairmont to have the memorial because that was the county seat. It wasn't chosen because of the population, it was chosen because it was a county seat. And we started looking around for options within Fairmont. We looked at Veterans Park. We felt after talking to the city we would be too constricted for that area, and we thought that area might be too small. So we started checking around, and one of our design committee members, Chuck Mixon, talked to a friend of his and got the land donated to us. The land that we chose was donated by Doug and Diana Kaler. It's right next to the ball fields on the north end of town on Winnebago Avenue, so we had immediate parking, we had restroom facilities. It was accessible from the road immediately. There's trees to the north that we're going to integrate into the design. It had a big open area to the front. We only had to remove 2 trees. We had the land platted out, went through all the regulations, and with our 501c3, we started accepting donations from veterans because they were the ones that wanted to be recognized. Then we went to the outside public, to major contributors, businesses in town, and everyone wanted to be involved with the Martin County Veterans Memorial.
Yes. And I had said that I had 3 or 4 designs for the last 40 years, and would they mind if I threw something together? Yeah, go ahead, So we did, and brought them an idea. Everybody liked it, but then we started to change it, and that's when it became a group effort.
We started the design and arguing about the design. You have 5 branches of the military, so it wasn't cohesive to start with.
Yeah, I laid out a form, but we changed quite drastically in some of the areas, didn't we?
Definitely.
And we went over each area. And it was a group effort, talking about why we wanted something, why it had to be this way. We were worried about some of the non-combats that didn't get to go into a combat area. Were their names going to be honored? And we came up with the deal that if you had lived in Martin County or been here during your term, you were eligible. After we started, we put up the front monument, which is Martin County Veterans Memorial, which is, by the way, 1 foot thick, 5 foot by 8 foot, pretty close.
Correct.
Something like that.
7 ton.
7 ton. I don't think the wind's going to blow it over.
We placed in concrete footings. We put up a concrete wall, and we're going to be attaching an 80-foot granite wall on top, on the front of the concrete wall. Terry was part of the design committee and was instrumental in laying out the design.
And so we have tried very, very hard to make it so that the front part is a parade ground atmosphere with the wall backing it up. We will have a bench with a lady holding the 3-corner flag with a presentator down on his knee, handing the flag to her, and another, it'll be VFW and a Legion, and the salute thing. And that will be over on the right-hand corner, and right behind them is where there's going to be the POWs, MIAs, and killed in action. That's that corner, and that's what that's designated for, is the fallen or the lost. And then the names will sweep the other way. Now, part of the design when we did this was, when I put those angles in, we didn't have the back angles. We just had a V, kind of like this. Short on one side, long on the other. At the top, it tapers down from 8 foot to 6. My idea was to have a V. Any angle, upside down or up, whatever, as long as it was a V for victory. Well, then we decided we needed the walls on the side to contain everything, and so that's what we did. And we kept the angles the same way, and the idea is to fill it from the back, and on the back side, we're going to have a ship. If you've ever been to Sioux Falls over by the zoo, they got that one that's laying on the ground. Ours will be similar, but we're going to do, if you've ever gone to Branson, Missouri, they've got the Titanic down there. And lights and water shooting up on the front, and when you look at it, it looks like the boat's plowing through the water. We're going to try to do that same thing. And it's going to be a simple design. We're not going to try to get extravagant or do something really different. We will have then a sailor with a bag of some sort, his duffel bag, standing between the ship in that corner of the wall, and there will be paving blocks, and then it'll go back into a path that goes clear back through and goes out the other side, so you can come in either way. The farthest statue we have way in the back will be World War II, and they will be dressed in their combat gear. The next will be World War I, and they will have the same thing, their combat gear. We're going to try to make these as specific to that era as we can. The next will be the Korean War, and then we will have NAM, and then we will have present day. And we're thinking our present day needs to be a woman. We've got a lot of women veterans in Martin County, different areas they served. So we figured that's one way to recognize them. Of course, at the very back of the facility will be, hopefully, I would like to have a Cobra. I don't know if we're going to get a Cobra, but I'd like one.
Cobra helicopter.
Either that or we'll get a Huey helicopter. Intermingled along the path will be short little paths off to the side with benches that people can purchase, and the benches can have their memorial on there if they want a specific one. And there will be a path to it with grasses and stuff, and the idea is to make it so that if you wish to go over there and sit and contemplate and be out of the way and still be a part of it, you can. This memorial is not a park. We don't want anybody to think it's a park. We are hoping and asking everybody to stay away with camping, games, kids running around. We just want this to be a place of reverence and reflect on the men and women who gave to make this country safe.
The benches will be approximately 4 foot long. They'll
Yeah.
have the bench seat. They'll have a bench back. Both of those will be engraved. What we're accepting right now is $3,000 donations for the bench, and it will be lettered out any way that the donator would like it to be lettered. The length of the wall is 80 foot, and a lot of that was determined because we wanted to be able to accommodate all of the veterans of Martin County. Right now, we have over 4,000 veterans of Martin County. It costs $200 to have your name put on the wall, and it's verified by a DD 214 or a discharge paper from the National Guard.
Yeah.
And that goes through the County Veteran Service Officer. So far, we have about 700 names that are on the wall. Anybody that was killed in action, anybody that was a prisoner of war, anybody that was missing in action, their names are automatically on the wall free of charge.
Yep.
We wanted to recognize the donors. We established breakouts for contributions from donors. Those names will be on the wall. The symbols for the 5 branches of the military will be on the wall. The donations can be sent to Martin County Veterans Memorial, Box 623 in Fairmont. and you will receive back a thank you card with a 501c3 on there so that it is tax deductible. And we take contributions year round, and right now after the wall goes up, we will have 2 months, one in the spring and one in the fall, that we will be placing names on the wall. So far we've taken in almost $200,000 in cash. We have over $100,000 in in-kind donations. The total projects where we're looking at is going to be $800,000 to $1 million.
We don't want folks to wonder, are we going to complete it? We are going to complete it. It will be done. But this is something that when we first started, we thought, oh, maybe a couple of years and we'll be done. And I kept telling them, figure 5 years, maybe 6, 7. This is a big project, and we're at the mercy of people willing to help us contribute, because we just don't have the funds. I mean, this is a start from scratch operation.
The Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee started the project. We didn't want to own land. We didn't want to be responsible the rest of our lives. So as soon as we got the land donated to us, we donated that to Martin County. So essentially, this is a Martin County park, and the Martin County Commissioners have been very gracious in allowing our committee to establish the memorial the way that we see fit. And when we're completed, which will be probably 3 to 5 years from now, everything will be part of Martin County property.
Yeah.
Everything that's going into the park is built so that it will last forever. It's
Hopefully.
not going to be a continuous maintenance thing. It's going to be, when we complete it, it's going to be completed to the satisfaction of the Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee.
What was it? Was it 25 or 45 yards we put in for the flag?
45 yards for the flag
45
and
yards,
the sign.
square, 6, 7 foot deep, and we did 20 yards for the sign, wasn't it?
Correct.
20? And then we did, for the foundation for the wall, was
60 yards.
60 yards.
For the footings.
Just for the footing, 60 yards. And then we did 35
5
yards for the wall itself above it. Give you an idea what we did. I mean, we made our base as solid as we can possibly make it. We are going to put drainage around it.
The wall itself, if you go up close to it, it's in 4-foot sections. The center of the wall in the V is 8 foot high. It goes down to 6 foot high. But all of those are 4-foot sections, and the names will be put on the wall now and in the future. It's a continuous line for each 4-foot section. And in between each name, there's going to be a diamond in between each name to separate the names. It's first name, middle initial, last name. And it's going to be what was issued on the DD 214.
Yep, that's it.
The names can be added. We're going to have a sandblaster come in and add the names so that it looks like it's continuous, so you won't be able to tell from the older names to the newer names that are put on the wall. Also, when you walk up to the wall, you'll be able to take your cell phone, go to our website, mcvm.org, type in that person's name, and on the bottom of each panel, it's going to be lettered. It'll be 1W, 1E. For east or west from the center of the wall. Along the north wall, it'll be 1 through 5N for going north. When you walk up there, you'll be able to type in Terry Anderson. As soon as you type in Terry Anderson, it will come back with a full bio, whatever he supplied to be put into the website, and it will have the number of the panel where his name is, so that you can go up to that panel and start searching that panel for his name.
The wall will be lit. We're going to try to use real soft light, because we're really cognizant of our neighbors, and we don't want something that bounces off and shoots in their eyes when they're looking out. So we're going to try to use soft light.
We do have challenge coins that were made up. We had a contest when we were originally in our first committee meetings, and we put it out to the public to come up with a design for us. We had a design that was accepted, and we made challenge coins. Anybody that contributes to the wall has a challenge coin. And anyone that we see where we can spread the word of the Martin County Veterans Memorial received a challenge coin. The Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee is made up of, we have a president, Jim Miller. The vice presidents are Gary Reitzel and Terry Anderson. I'm the treasurer. The secretary is John McDonald, and filling in for John McDonald was Ben Landsteiner. And we also have committee members at large. We have Dan Schmidtke, which is a Martin County Commissioner. We have Kathy Smith, which is a Martin County Commissioner. We have Doug Landsteiner. We have on the design committee, we have Terry Anderson. We have Chuck Mixon. We had Robert Meschke. And Robert passed away a couple months ago. Robert Altman is from the Fairmont Legion. He's been attending meetings lately.
We appreciate them, and we also appreciate the people that have trusted us enough to sponsor us. This was kind of a risk for us, and yet people saw the need, and they understood our hearts and our intent. We just thank you, every one of you. We thank you for your generosity. We thank you for your trust in us, which is huge.
We've grown since we first had our first committee meeting, and when we first started thinking about it, we thought $100,000 was a lot. Then we started looking at $250,000. Then we started looking at $500,000. So as we've grown and as we've actually looked into prices, looking at $800,000 to $1 million seems like it isn't that far away to achieve. We are a large enough committee that we would like to establish a perpetual fund that we can contribute to any town or community in Martin County that would like to start a Veterans Memorial.
As we were going through this process, Trimont started theirs, and they've finished theirs. They're a good example of what we want to do and help other cities, because we're all one.
We would like to thank everyone for the contributions they've made thus far. We would like to thank everyone for thinking of the Martin County Veterans Memorial Committee, and we look forward to working with all of you in the future.
Yes.